Chapter 29. Standing behind the dumpster, I glanced around one more time to make sure the coast was clear. Simone was waiting in Gisak's car, and Asher was hiding behind a van, ready to steal the flowers. It all depended on me now. I pulled out the lighter and flare that I'd tucked inside my leather jacket. The instructions on the side of the stick seemed simple enough. Take the top part off and strike the base like you would a match. If that didn't work, then I'd just use the lighter. On the first try, a cascade of sparks came flying off like a 4th of July sparkler, and the stick burned brightly. Quickly, I tossed it into the dumpster. Within a few seconds, smoke started coming out. It was time. I ran behind a nearby column. "Fuoco! Fuoco!" Simone shouted, stepping out of Gisak's car and pointing to the dumpster. A nearby delivery man looked over, saw the smoke, and began calling for help. Everyone in the area ran toward the dumpster. I raced over to the front entrance, where Simone and Asher were already waiting. They each had flower baskets filled with daisies and roses that Asher had grabbed while I caused the distraction. Simone handed me one, but her eyes kept scanning the area. "Something wrong?" I whispered as the dark clouds began to roll in. The storm was coming, just like in my vision. Simone shook her head. "Just making sure no one is here to kill us." Once we got inside, our flower delivery wasn't questioned. We said we were delivering a set of flowers to the nurses' stations on each floor. The guard handed us visitor passage and pointed to the elevator down the hall. Stepping into the elevator, I let out a loud, shaky breath. I was a jumble of excitement and nerves. My dad was here. I could feel it. We'd be leaving with him soon. "Which floor do we start on?" Simone asked, her finger hovering over the elevator buttons. "Let's start at the top." I reached over and pushed number 5. We exited on the 5th floor and peered into every room before dropping off a bouquet of flowers with the nurses. We did the same on the 4th, and there was still no sign of my dad. "What if he's not awake?" Simone whispered as we dropped off the second bouquet. "If he's still in a coma, would you at least think of talking to my mom? I think she can help." "I don't know," I muttered, not wanting to accept that as a possibility. "He'll be awake. You'll see." Splitting up on the 3rd floor, we each darted toward a different room along the hospital's wide hallway. The nurses' station was at the far end, away from the elevator, so like the other floors, we could pop into the rooms without drawing too much attention. The first 2 rooms I checked were empty, but the 3rd room had a frail old man hooked up to an IV with an oxygen tube in his nose. There was such sadness in his eyes, but it seemed to lessen when he saw the flowers in my hand. "Scusi, I have the wrong room," I said, but I could tell that he didn't understand English. He motioned for me to put the flowers on the table by his bed. "Grazie," he whispered, a slight smile filtering over his face. I set down the bouquet, allowing him to think that someone had sent them for him. Could Simone be right? What if my father was like this old man? I wouldn't be able to just unplug him. No, I thought, I'll be fine. He has to be. "Cassie!" Simone was calling me. "I found him!" My heart pounded as I ran out of the old man's room. I paused and looked up and down the hallway, unsure where to go. "Over here!" Simone said from the room next door. I ran over, only to be confronted by Simone standing rigidly by the window, a pained look on her face. The rhythmic beeping of a machine filled the room. My eyes immediately darted toward the hospital bed. My father was there, but he was unconscious, and his body was hooked up to monitors. I rushed over and picked up his hand. It felt warm, but it was limp. "No, this isn't how it's supposed to be." I glanced up at the clock above his bed. It was 10:52, which, according to my vision, meant that my father was supposed to be talking to me in about an hour. Was I supposed to just wait here? "Papi, please wake up," I pleaded. "You have to wake up. Despiértate. We don't have much time." "I'm sorry, Cassie," Simone said, staring at her feet. "I had to do it." "Do it?" Asher repeated, taking a few steps into the room. Behind him, the door closed, and my blood ran cold as I heard the click of a gun.